Good Monday to you, sir.
Good Monday to you.
Are you done with your mobile game?
I've beaten the.
You done your daily quests?
Well, actually, I've got 3 more to go, but I don't have enough energy, so it's got to replenish by the time I go home from Jiu-Jitsu tonight.
And I take it, based on what you said off air, you've never spent a dime on microtransaction.
Never spent a dime
on these free-to-play games. So
Ever.
You're not paying to win?
Nope.
Okay.
I refuse. I'm all about the. It's because the journey is what matters, right?
Yeah,
That's
except they
where the
artificially slow it for those that want to do it free.
So, I tell you what, though, man, there are people in my alliance. So we're like consistently top 50 alliance. Most time top. Guaranteed
game were we
top 100.
talking about?
It's DC Legends.
Okay.
DC Legends.
Shout out to
on
DC
Android.
Legends.
Super fun. I've been playing it, I guess, for like a long time.
Don't say how long you've been playing.
It's basically since Marvel Avengers Alliance went down. I picked this up and it's basically the same game, but it's a turn-based. I don't even know what it's called, like a turn-based strategy.
Yeah, turn-based strategy game
Where it's like just a 4-on-4, and I had dropped out of another alliance because they wanted to be on
the equivalent of like a guild, right? Like
I
most
guess so,
people would
yeah.
call it a guild.
Yeah,
Where it's like you're actually dealing with other players.
Yeah,
and you guys
yeah.
are collectively grinding towards extra
yeah,
wealth and goals.
Right.
For
Just
certain
certain
for the betterment
achievements.
of the group.
I was in like a top 25 alliance, and they required all this like Discord and all this bullshit.
Oh yeah, man,
Dude, I had like fucking random people from the Philippines messaging me on Facebook. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And they're like, oh, aren't you excited about these raids? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And they're like, they laid down the law. They're like, if you don't get on Discord, and he's like, message. I don't even know what Discord is. It's like WhatsApp or something, right?
Discord is a chat platform
Is it?
specifically designed for gamers.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck that. I ain't doing it. I'm like, I'm gonna contribute. I contribute. I'm consistently in the top 10 out of 30 people in our alliance, putting up points. So, I fuck off basically. And they were like, well, if you're not gonna join Discord and you don't know where people need you, and I'm like,
You just
whatever.
got booted, bro.
Yeah, no, I quit before they could boot me. I was like, fuck off. So I found this other like more laid back one, and they're like, yeah, just do what you can. And I'm like consistently in the top 5 of that one, and we still get all of our shit. So that's all that matters.
Way to go.
Yeah,
so
man.
This is welcome to BJJ and Brews.
Welcome to nerding. Yeah,
Talking about my mobile app. So this is episode 53.
53 of the
So
big.
51 and 52 were recorded with Preet.
Super excited to hear those.
Yeah, and the feedback
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Very thankful for him to take the time.
And also
in
thankful
Estonia.
to Tristan.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Tristan for the beers.
Very cool. Haven't had a chance to try them yet. Hopefully they're
Hopefully
still
there's
here.
one lying around and Paul hasn't
Yeah.
had them all. But it was that was awesome.
That's
dude. That and the
we
card.
appreciate the. That's very cool.
That was super awesome. So this is now year 2 of BJJ and
We're
Brews.
on year 2.
On to
We
year-
have not done year 2. Okay.
So I told you that a lot of stuff's happened since we last spoke.
Which was like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. But before we even talk about that, there was an incident today on the mats that I was involved in.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that you were involved in.
Involved in. So
Define involved.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
I
hear
was
it.
one of the 2 parties involved. So noon class,
Okay.
and now the back half of class when I'm grappling, and I do a 5-minute round with Casey. And for those of you who don't know who Casey is a blue belt. I would say with him and Xander, they're like the 200. They're over 200 pounds. They're very technical, obviously very physically gifted too.
Yeah, they're pretty physical.
And he's been getting really good, really fast.
Yeah.
So-
He's definitely been learning
And
like,
training
he's been
a lot.
training
too,
a lot. Yeah.
So I haven't rolled with him for at least, I would say, a couple months now. Just by
because
chance,
of-
by
yeah.
pure chance. No, nothing like that. So we roll, and towards the end of the roll, he's in my close guard, and he starts doing a can opener on me.
Oh.
And I get pissed because he's never done stuff like that before. And he's cranking on my neck hard. So I actually start talking to him like, what are you doing? And I get annoyed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Noah.
And I get out of that, and then I immediately start aggressively attacking his legs,
Noah.
Yeah. And then the round ends. And I'm like, dude, don't do that shit. That's literally what I said. Well, I was like, dude, don't do that shit, man. Like, you're gonna hurt people, And I kind of walk off. I'm kind of.
This is an incident.
Yeah. It's an incident.
No.
So, class ends.
Someone like you.
So then, I was like, hey, man. Like, he's walking away. Hey, I was like, come here. I was like, like a guy like Justin can get away with doing that because we know he does that. It's like he's a goon and everyone knows that. And what was interesting is what Casey told me is like, well, he's like, and this is why I don't know what he's talking about. But right before that, I had him in a.
Is this sacred? By the way, you're talking about Casey. You're name dropping. Is he cool with you telling the story?
No. He and I are good. Like,
okay,
all
right.
He and I are good. Like,
just before
to say the story, like we're all square. I'm giving it to you in chronological order.
I got you.
For the sake of storytelling here. And if anything on me, like even if we didn't talk, I'm cool. That was just a heat of the moment reaction on my part. But it provoked a very interesting kind of discussion because I was like, like why'd you like? I was kind of like what was going through his mind. Now what he told me was, he's like, well, you had my arm right before that, and I felt like you were gonna like break my arm, and then I had to power out, and I felt like I had to get you back, kind of thing. So now this is the thing, two things.
The testosterone kicks in.
One. It was either this. I didn't ask specifically which situation it was. It was either a razor arm lock attempt from closed guard.
In your closed guard, yeah.
So he had his arm, kind of behind my head, and I went over to do razor arm lock, and he
Udi Garami, man.
Well, and he just kind of like limp arm, kind of out of that, and then prior to that, I had him in. Let's call that. I don't know what we don't have a name for this position. This mount position where. It's essentially, I've been talking at the monopilata setup where you have like some people call it omoplata mount. I've heard where if they lift an underhook from side control and you step over, and now you're in this mounted position where one knee is on the ground, he's on his side, and you've trapped his underhooking arm between your hip pocket.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we call that position. So I was in that, and obviously his arm was in my armpit. And I ended up going to close guard. Now, I was not trying to armbar him at all in that position.
Yeah.
But it's possible that he might have felt
tightness. He might have felt like he was armbarring himself. Actually.
Yeah, and that might have been.
He just may not know.
But either way, in one of those two positions, I'm guessing because those are the ones, he felt like I was going to break his arm, which made me think. Afterwards, I'm sitting there. I'm thinking about. As I'm thinking, I'm like, so obviously, he neck cranks me. And I get annoyed because I feel like he's taking liberties with my body, and I know, he's a very technical guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are many ways. So I got annoyed because I'm like, dude, you could hurt my neck doing that. These are techniques that aren't. I'm not saying they're not legitimate techniques. They are, but they're not sustainable for training day in and day out, right? But it was not. He didn't do it. He was provoked by something I did, and I'm unaware that I did it. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking. Did I attack an arm in a way that made him think? Like, for him to think I could break his arm, I was like, I'm not. My intention is never to break someone's arm. And if I were to aggressively go for a move, I'm going to stop short before breaking pressure. I would think,
because
that's my goal.
I would expect people to know you well enough to know you well enough to know that you wouldn't. Like you could, but you won't. Like that sort of thing, right?
Well, that's what I'd like to think, but it was kind of it made me think because I know Casey, I know his character, and that's not under question here.
Oh yeah,
I'm actually like doing a self-reflection now. After class, I'm sitting there. I was like, are my movements too scary? Like, is there something about the way I'm? Because for example, I was thinking the whole time was the razor arm lock. Now to do a razor arm lock, I know it comes on fast. It's kind of scary, but if you do it slow, you're never going to have a chance to.
Yeah.
So. It was quick, but it was quick to get the arm extended and locked, not to apply pressure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Now, if it was...
He might have just panicked. Just feeling that... like.
But still, what could I have done? I'm literally thinking, I'm like, what am I doing that is giving people the perception that I'm capable of breaking someone's arm? Because I feel like that's on me. There's something I could be doing better.
Yeah, but some movements... don't work unless you apply them, like the razor arm lock, right? Like if you feel like, let's just assume it was that for the moment, right?
Okay.
People don't know that it's like if you just sit there and you like you get the underhook and you overhook on the other side and you try to tuck your head in and that sort of thing, like at that point it's not like you'll never even get their arm into the proper position to try to apply it if you do it slow.
I agree with that.
You know? So, like, some moves, just the nature of them, because they have to be done fast, can probably startle people. And anytime you grapple fast, I think a lot of times it can be perceived as that guy's going hard.
Okay, because that might have happened because what he said was he described it as sort of escalation, like, you know, right. I felt that, and, you know, I feel like I had to come back at you kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And
but
he
that's
said that
interesting because I come back at you.
Well, he didn't use that word, but it was similar to that. You know, I had to get you, and which made me wonder, like, but why go for? Which I was thinking, but why go for a can opener? You know, I don't know. But again,
he's keeping you honest, I guess.
I mean, it's an honest thing. I'm sure this happens on mats every day across the world. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of curious, like, from your perspective, especially being that you are the de-escalation master.
Am I though?
Well, I'm the first to admit that I can get triggered. What was surprising to me is, I guess I triggered him first. And I didn't know. What's and that's the thing where I'm kind of like, huh?
So, like, that's the thing too, is like, so what just happened? It was literally Itchy and Scratchy, right? Like, Itchy, like, pulls out a knife, and then Scratchy pulls out a revolver, and then Itchy pulls out, like, a cannon, and then Scratchy pulls out, like, a nuclear weapon. Like, that's literally what happened just now. Like, we have talked about it a handful of times now. Like, you waited until after it, and after escalating to say something. Right? Like, you said, I was triggered and I aggressively attacked his legs.
I mean, this happened within the last 20 seconds of a round.
Oh,
so it's like me attacking the legs literally happened within the last 10 seconds.
Right.
You know, so I do like a backside entry, and I'm just like,
so I don't know. I mean, like, it's.
But again, my intent is my intent was like, I'm going to catch you now. My intent is not like I'm going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
I mean that, but they don't know. It's like there's so much like.
But there is the ego kicking in of like, I want to put you in your place now, kind of thing. That's literally the ego.
That's a terrible thing to do.
That's why I'm saying, like, I'm being fully honest and transparent about. And maybe people listen to this and they're like, well, that's why.
Oh, Noah. I'm a little disappointed in you, Noah.
Dude, that's why I'm a blue belt.
That's the dad in me coming out.
I'm a blue belt.
No. But he's also a blue belt, so that's a really interesting. So, like, once again, right? Like, isn't it just a matter of, like, hey, man, why'd you do that? And, like, or I mean, like, so he can't open. You just opened up. I assume you just opened up your guard, and you let him either pass or, like, you were able to sneak out the back.
My counter for the
can opener
is to take both my fists and go and frame right into your throat, so you can't complete the motion, so you end up framing into your throat, and then I just pop my head out to one side or the other.
Which is I mean, the harder he pulls, right? Like, then he's why you throat punching yourself? Why are you throat punching yourself?
And that's all Nick, Paul, and Justin now. Like, all those techniques and that counter, that's a Nick, Paul, Justin thing.
Right. But I mean, it's so it likely happens every day, every class. I bet you that happens,
I guess,
right? Because just the perception of that one guy who just does that move 1% too fast can feel like the other guy.
So that's what you think the most likely thing is that the speed at which something was applied gave the appearance of your aggression and going hard.
I think so.
But I don't think that's what bothered him. What bothered him is he said, you know,
so
like, I mean, I had to, like, so I felt like you were going to break my arm, and I had to do something drastic to get out, and then after that.
So here's the thing: is like tap.
I mean, yeah,
right. Like, if then tap. That's why we do jiu-jitsu, right? Like, that's why we don't catch wrestle.
But I'm trying to think, is there something I did that was out of line? You know what I mean? Like, that's...
But were you doing... Because, okay, so this is one of those things about, like, it's not a rule of jiu-jitsu training and whatever it is, but, like, we don't do it because it's bad mat etiquette. I like to think that your level of self-awareness is high enough such that you're so aware of when you're grappling that you know when you're doing something that's potentially can be perceived to be as overly aggressive. Right?
I would like to think that as well. What I do think can play a factor in this, I don't know if it played a factor in this specific instance, is that when you have a significant disparity in size and strength, the smaller person has to go harder to deal with the bigger guy, the bigger person's size. So I sympathize with big guys because I feel like big guys, people take for granted that, they're impervious to things that I might be pervious to, and therefore people will frame more aggressively on them, will might actually hit them and kick them, and because they're big and strong, they can handle it, right?
That's such a. Do you think people really do that? They think they can probably handle it. Like, that's such a douchebag.
I think that. I mean, I don't think there's malice or douchiness behind that behavior. I just think there's an ignorance and the false assumption that, I couldn't. Like if I, like he's bigger, so it won't bother him if I just poke him in the eye. So not poke him in the eye, but you know what I mean. That's an extreme. So in order for me to go with Casey, because he is so technical and he's physically imposing, I cannot flow with him. I have to provide some resistance, or else he's just going to bowl me over and smash.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that could be another factor. I don't know if that played a role into this, but for example, if I'm on top with him, I have to play tight and be and use my pressures and angles properly, or else he's just going to throw me off.
Right.
Right. So does that mean I'm like?
No, it's just you're doing good jiu-jitsu.
But my thing is that a way that can be perceived as, he's going? Could it be reversed? Like it's like, well, wow, he's really focused on pinning me here. Is he going super hard? Like, that sort of thing. That's kind of my. Again, this is me just spitballing. Just as I was, again, this is kind of the stuff that was going through my head on the mats afterwards, after I'd spoken to him, and like I said, we're cool, and we kind of cleared the air there. But it did, like I said, this all came from me getting caught off guard by the fact that he perceived it as I provoked him with almost breaking his arm, and I'm like, Jesus.
And if you can't even pin, at that point, I lay the blame on him. Not blame the maybe misconception or
I don't know, man.
On him
because I don't want to. I know you're being impartial. I know you're trying to be impartial.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're trying to be impartial. I mean, the truth is like this. I'm just telling you from my perspective, and obviously, like his perspective was different.
Way different.
And then a different perspective is going to be if you actually watch the roll.
Right. Yeah.
And you might watch the roll and be like, no, your finger was like, in a scrotum the entire time.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Like, so let's just
we
say,
talk about awareness so much. Right? Like you and I talk about the hallmark of a good training partner is somebody who has very good awareness of themselves and themselves in relation to the other person, right? Because with a certain level of experience, I feel as though like you know when you're putting pressure on somebody's arm. I mean, like you do it all the time. I mean, how many times has Paul used you as an uke or something, and like he knows when he's putting a little bit too much pressure and he has to release, like, and that sort of thing, like. And I think with both your levels of experience at this point, I would think that he knows when his arm is in a bad position, and he knows. I know when my arm's in a bad position when I'm rolling with Mark, let's just say, right? Mm-hmm. And I know when I can fight my way out of something, and I know when I can't. Mm-hmm. I know I can feel when somebody's cranking something, and I know when my arm is just compromised because of the fit of it, right? To quote Preet. I think in this case, it appears that it was just a lack of the recognition of how good of a fit that was.
That's possible. I kind of wish we had that video that we could, we recorded all the rolls.
That would be ideal, right?
And then we're like, let's go to the video.
I mean, we got
like,
separate cameras
right there. What? Right there.
So I mean, like, because you tend to not roll with malice. That's interesting that he would think that.
Yeah, so that's
interesting.
That's
right?
the other thing where I'm like, are there other behaviors or actions I've done in previous roles with him or with other people that have given people the impression that, oh yeah, Noah's the kind of guy. Like even if I'm pissed off at you, like I said, I was never gonna like try to get a heel hook and then rip
But
it.
like,
You know what I
listen
mean?
to the reaction too. I'm not defending you by any means. The reaction was, I thought you were gonna break my arm, so I had to use some muscle to get out. Isn't the more appropriate reaction? I thought you were gonna break my arm, so I tapped.
I mean,
shouldn't that be the more like just tap? Like that's literally the first thing we learn in jiu-jitsu. Something hurts, something doesn't feel right, blah blah blah. Tap. It's okay. There's no shame in that, right? Like that's how we learn to get better.
I mean, in a vacuum, yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that, but I don't want to. Like I'm gonna defend Casey all. You know,
no. I mean, he's a good training partner too.
No, he is.
So that's
Absolutely.
the thing is, I mean, I don't think that this was likely a one-off.
Oh yeah, this is one of those things that happen, but it can happen. It's just interesting how, these events can unfold, and like you have two, I would consider, mature enough grapplers on the mat, and intent was confused,
Right.
And
I mean, it is
the heat of the battle.
We're not playing polo. So
yeah, that's true. That's
the another. I mean, there's just things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. I'm
and it's funny, on the same token, my reaction could be like, if he's can't open me, I could just say tap. But I didn't.
You didn't.
I was like, I want to fight out. Like there's the ego kicks in. This is the bane of.
Yeah.
This is the bane of toxic masculinity or whatever. But yeah, I'm confident that this story is not going to be foreign to most of our listeners. If they've rolled for more than a year, I'm sure they've had situations.
That's interesting because, like, I think if it were different people involved, namely you, I would be less surprised that sort of reaction. But because you have rolled with him a lot, that he would know your personality. Well, like anybody who rolls with me, right? Like I stop in the middle of sweeps because.
Are you okay?
Is your knee okay? Like how many times have you heard me say that while I'm rolling with people? Right?
You're about to do a waiter sweep. You're like, okay, watch your knee now.
Yeah. Like like that's literally a reaction of mine. So I mean, like people know my personality. That like more often than not, I'm 99.999% of the time. If something hurt, it's literally an accident, right? And I would like to think the same of you. We can, like you said, Justin. Like we know. I mean, he's literally the far extreme. So I mean, like that's where I'm surprised that Casey would have reacted that way.
It is what it is. It happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked afterwards.
I'm glad you did. And that's the thing is, right? Like you guys also talked it out afterwards, right? How many other situations do you think where this is like going to be some bullshit grudge? Where like, like now it's going to actually drive you guys apart. I'm glad that you're mature enough, especially, and that he's mature enough that you guys were able to talk it out. Like that should be the main.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't like a big
this.
thing. Like I mean, it was just, hey man, what kind of happened out there? Like we both really, what happened?
Right. And the fact that both of you guys recognize that too is like, and that you guys were able to communicate about it. Like if he was just like, no, nothing, man, and just like wandered off or something, then that would be a little bit, But you're hard to hate. No,
I definitely wanted to talk to him. So he rolled a little bit more after class, and I stuck around because I was like, okay, I want to grab him before he leaves. Now that we've kind of cooled down a little bit. Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna wait for him to roll a couple rounds.
I'm taking this home with me. So, yeah, all right. So
I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah. So that was the late breaking news.
So every time he does something, if I roll with him, I'll be like, why were you doing that to me?
You're gonna make everyone like question them. So what? Like zero aggression, guys.
Like, whoa, why'd you do that?
Just turtle up. That's the only thing that is an appropriate response.
I tell you what annoyed a couple people Thursday morning before I left on my trip. I was doing the running man.
Oh really?
Dude, that annoys the shit because you leave so few openings.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're like
They can't get underhooks.
Yeah, like they're like, what do I do? You know, I'm like,
Good luck.
yeah, just I'll find out what you do when somebody does punch you, I guess. But so what we should do after every jiu-jitsu class as a part of jiu-jitsu learning and tribe building and whatnot is have a mat chat with every single person, everybody you rolled with. Is just have like a clarification of feelings afterwards.
An airing of grievances.
Yeah, it's like, was there anything that I might have done today that might have been, because I would like to atone for it. But so what else is new, man? I've been away from the mat since Thursday. So
Well, over the weekend we had a couple of our tribe members compete.
yeah,
So Troy and
a lot of
Mike,
people out there too, right? Like
there were a fair amount, but again, you have to have a lot of people in order for brackets to be full. So you can have a fair amount of people there, but they're all in their own individual little bracket. So
Yeah.
by far, the white belts were the most represented out there. Once you got to the higher belts,
this is AGF, right?
yes.
Okay, that's
So American Grappling
Chris
Federation, I believe.
Carlino's?
I don't know.
Okay, I think they're out of like. I have to find out. I'm pretty sure that's Chris.
So Troy and Mike both competed in different brackets. Troy and Nogi. Mike
would they have been in the same bracket if they were both competed in
potentially,
the
but they kept them apart.
Okay, they intentionally.
But there was an issue with like weight where there was nobody in, so for example, there's no one in Mike's division, so he actually moved up in weight.
Okay.
And he grappled with a guy that he still dwarfed. The guy looked at him and was like, "Damn, you're big." So
And Mike went up in weight?
yeah. Even though I guess the guy weighed more, Mike was just huge compared to him, The guy was a little stockier, but he, I would have thought Mike weighed more. Just looking,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Wait, hang on. First off, nobody even knew about the competition. Were they specifically training for it? It just so happens they on the fly.
They knew about this. I mean, for months in advance.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know they had registered.
I think it's because they knew about it so long in advance. They mentioned, then everyone kind of forgot about it.
Oh, man.
But they were kind of doing their thing. Mike tapered off his training.
Okay.
And so Troy competed in no-gi against a catch wrestler. A
Really?
self-described catch wrestler.
What's his name? Did you catch his name by any chance?
I mean, I don't remember his name.
Okay.
No, I don't. So I don't know what belt, in jiu-jitsu terms, but he's a catch wrestler. So, so that was in no-gi. And Bert Reeves was there.
Yeah.
And Bert was cornering Troy. Troy knows everybody because I guess Troy's like you. Is like he's been in a lot more gyms than I realized.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
So he's been around. So he knew all these, these Longwood people that.
Well, I mean, he's from Longwood. So.
Yeah. So
and Bert was like, he had coached him a lot in his previous competitions.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, so yeah, he had Bert in his corner.
Why was Bert there?
I have no idea. He might have asked him to come. I don't know. I don't know why Bert was there. I don't know if it was because
I know
Troy
Black
asked
Box
him.
is out there and stuff too. And
So Troy went out and it was a 5-minute round, and they started on their feet, and the guy after some hand fighting and stuff.
how much clubbing was there?
Not too much, but
Okay.
the guy takes Troy down.
I was going to say, like,
So here we go.
guard.
So we got to follow the scoring here. The scoring is the key here. So now Troy's down 2-0.
Oh, boy.
Guy passes guard.
That's 3.
2-3. So now it's
5.
5-0. Now the guy, let me do this right. That's 5. Yeah. So then he
What
mounts
kind
him.
of guard did he fall into when he took him
I
down?
think, I don't know. This all happened pretty quickly.
Was it? Okay.
Then he mounts him.
Oh, boy. So it's 9.
Now we got another 4. Then Troy's trying to go into deep half, it looks like. The guy's really tugging on his head. Takes Troy's back.
13.
So now it's
right?
13-0. And Troy...
That's pretty...
And now
That's deep water, man.
So then Troy...
And this is happening at how far into the match is this?
Not even a minute in.
Really?
Yeah. So then Troy wriggles...
So Troy gave up his back. He didn't take his back. Because there's no way the guy...
Troy's moving and the guy gets his
Okay,
back.
he just happened... Okay.
So then Troy wriggles into, I believe, close guard.
To his close guard.
Yeah, and he looks up and he's like, what? And then...
like at the score?
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
So then he passes the guy's guard.
Okay,
Now
so
he's got
that's
3.
3. All right.
And the rest of the match is him going from half guard, for the most part,
So he's...
half guard to side control. half guard to side control.
So he's just spamming.
And he's racking up 3 points.
Is he cheese winning?
And he wins 15 to 13.
So he did that 5 times?
I don't know if he knew he was doing it, but he ends up doing it, I think.
But that's the thing is he going between half guard because the guy's
No, the guy keeps regarding.
And
then the guy
that's a legitimate pass.
And then he's passing again. But once the guy was pinned, I don't know if it was fatigue or he was unable to get out from under Troy.
Hey, man, it's not a part
and then
of their
Troy
game,
just
dude.
he messed with, he'd go for like Kimura grips and stuff. But yeah, he just kept racking up the points, and he's
not
up
a part of the
15,
game.
and he wins. He's down 13-0, ends up winning 15-13 with 2 warnings.
2 warnings.
Yeah, the ref kept stopping Troy and warning him for stalling in side control, and we're both kind of confused. But I was like, Troy's getting like angry. He's like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, Troy, you're up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. As long as you stay up on the score, you're okay.
Knowing Troy, I like that's like.
But you know how
Troy's so aggressive.
But you know
like,
how
what do you
Troy,
mean he's stalling?
Troy looks. He's like, "What?" You know how that
like. Ref, come on.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? So we were shouting at Troy.
That's awesome.
We were like shouting at Troy, like, "Hey, dude, calm down. You're good. Just stay back." So he rode that out.
Good for him.
And there was supposed to be another guy in his bracket.
Troy's like the last person I would ever call for stalling.
There was another person on supposed to be in that bracket, but they never showed up. So Troy was the champ.
Nice.
Troy was celebrating that Carlson Gracie pressure. He's like, "That's our lineage, boy."
Oh my god, he just knows exactly.
He's like, they can't handle that lineage, bro. They're not used to that.
He's King Troll, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Like,
so that got a chuckle out of me. So then, so Mike, he had his match after Troy's. I cornered.
Why were
Mike
you not videotaping this too?
So the other guys, because I was, so Mike FaceTimed Eli while Troy was competing, and then Troy FaceTimed Eli while Mike was competing. So I think the videos. I think Troy's wife Myra has the videos of them somewhere. Anyway, so then Mike goes on. Mike, so I helped warm up Mike and stuff, and Mike was ready to go. So it was cool. So I go there, and Mike just did his thing, man. Like, they were on their feet.
Yeah,
there was no real takedown. There was just kind of like a takedown attempt that ended up with kind of like a scramble that ends up with Mike kind of falling into a guy.
Let me guess. Fell into his what?
Fell into half guard.
Okay, I already know how this match is going to
go.
Fell
into like a Z guard kind of thing, and I was expecting him to smash the shield and pass aggressively, but he was kind of. He told me afterwards the guy felt really strong, like with his grips. But ultimately,
stocky guy.
He did manage to pass. I was worried that there was maybe a loop choke attempt because the guy was going lower on the collar. Mm-hmm. So that was like, there were only 2 things I said to Mike, and this was all Mike. But he was like, "Dude, that was great coaching." I was like, "Well, thanks, but that was all you, man." like but the only 2 things I shouted out was like, watch the loop choke. So don't duck your head into a loop choke. He's past the guy, then he mounted him. Actually, I take that back. When he was trying to pass, the guy put in lockdown.
Okay. Ooh.
Did he put in lockdown?
I'm sure Mike will be here later on. We can clarify.
Oh, yeah. It was in lockdown, and I told him, don't move forward. He was trying to move. I was like, don't move forward. Like, you have to clear the lockdown. Yeah. So I said, got clear. So he cleared that, passed to mount. So now he's up 7.
Nice.
So now we're just screaming, settle, 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 settle. And then the guy tapped. And I thought it was Americana. The guy tapped to pressure. Mike sprawled his hips. Mike was like, he settled. He's like, I just dropped my hips on him. I was like, what? I was like, do you Americana? I was like, no, that was the Khabib pressure. So Mike just dropped his hips, man. He just dropped his hips.
That's awesome.
And the guy just was suffocated. Like his sternum was in like.
Mike was
taller
than
the guy. So Mike's chest,
belly is like probably between
like his sternum was in the guy's face. You know what I mean?
That's the mother's milk, right?
Yeah. So that guy. So he tapped. Like, yeah, and then.
Did he say he can't handle our lineage?
No, Troy kept saying that.
I was like, I don't really picture Mike as a particularly.
No, Mike did say that could be pressure. That was the thing. It could be pressure. So
it's awesome. Good.
So that was good.
Man. How long did y'all stay? Like,
all things considered, we weren't there. They were there longer than me.
Okay.
But for a more local tournament where they're known to go super late, I'd say I was there maybe 2.5 hours. So not
for two matches.
All things considered, most people that don't do jiu-jitsu might be like, that sounds horrible, but if you go to most jiu-jitsu tournaments, you go to a new breed or a naga, it's like they tell you you're going to compete at 1 and you compete at 5:30. You know what I mean? Like it just.
I mean, that's just the nature of it.
That's the nature of it. So, but it was cool. I got to watch some other people grapple, and that was, kind of cool. The parking was ridiculously far away, so that was.
Where was this located?
This is at the Orange County Convention Center.
You mean like on iDrive?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They got one of the rooms and they matted it out with roll-out wrestling mats. So it was, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool to be in that environment. A couple kids, like I don't know if I looked like somebody because I was wearing a Tap Cancer Out shirt, but like a couple kids approached me like I was like somebody they knew.
Really?
And I was like, I don't know what you're talking. Like it was weird. Like there was a weird, just a couple kids, but they both like looked at me.
Like children.
Like grapple. Like I'd say like between 8 to 12-year-old, maybe like 8 to 10, not quite 12.
I'm scanning my head.
I know. Like I don't know.
Like
I guess I looked the part.
What celebrity?
No, I guess I looked because I had my fanny pack on. I had a tight shirt and a fanny pack, so I was like.
Your head's not big enough to.
I know. I don't have enough cauliflower.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
So anyway, that was a cool day. I'm glad I got to go watch them.
Good for them, man. Like that's.
And it was a fun little afternoon.
Oh yeah, like I mean, Troy makes.
Troy got the most ridiculously large medal.
I saw that,
and it didn't even have a ribbon or anything. It was
just a medal.
Yeah,
right?
just a medal. So the tournament director says, "Well, that's like a belt buckle." And Troy was like, "Really?" And so then immediately online on Instagram, I happened to see another post of a different guy who won a tournament somewhere else, nothing unrelated.
A belt buckle.
But he won a huge belt, or excuse me, literally it looked like the same thing, but it had a huge gold chain, like Flavor Flav. Do you remember Flavor Flav had the clock around it?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you need to win. And he's like, and Troy's like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
So that was a cool little afternoon. Now I went back and did shoulders at the gym and called it a night. So
got that little exercise bike you're doing every day too, right?
Dude,
I
like it for my knee.
Yeah.
It really brings fluid into the knee, and I think it really helps with the healing process. Like I do think
it's just like literally a warm up you're doing. Not like
that's a
working
warm
out with
up.
it.
But I'm happy to do it for 20 to 30 minutes. Like just knock it out. But I do think that they have to be some. I'm noticing that there needs to be at least a day or two of rest in there somewhere for all this stuff to really take effect, because there needs to be some sort of recovery day.
Oh, I mean,
I was thinking, like, well, if I just do a stationary bike every day, is that good? Yeah, it's better to do it 5 days a week and rest 2 days.
Yeah,
and then things will tighten up. So the knee feels a lot better. I have not tested the extreme ranges of motion, but I'm just doing things that require more extreme range of motion naturally, like
how many
cross-legged and stuff. This is now
a month,
just over 4 weeks.
Okay.
So it would have been 4 weeks from Friday, so 4 weeks in a few days. So feeling good, feeling that I'll be in good shape by the end of the month, which is when I want to amp up my training and get ready.
Nice.
For December, which, by the way, breaking news, you heard it here first on BJJ and Brews, Julius will be competing at Masters World.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he told me he's signing up. He's got to get pending approval from Laborio. He's got to get the signature and stuff.
Okay. Good. Wow.
Yeah. And he has a newborn as well.
Wow.
So,
yes, he does.
He does.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
So congratulations to Julius.
Awesome. Oh,
So-
I did the thing. I mixed him up with Julian. I was like, didn't he have a hernia or something?
So that's cool.
He's gonna destroy people.
I mean, there are a lot of people signed up in the black belt divisions.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't know the levels, man.
Yeah.
I don't. But it'd be exciting. I hope to have a chance to watch him compete.
Yeah.
It might be difficult given that you're only allowed to go in the days you compete.
We'll just watch on FlowGrap.
That's right. We can.
Yeah,
We'll do a
watch
little
on
watch
Flow
party. We'll
Grappling.
do a little watch party. So that's
Spartan. Go Spartan.
Go Spartan. So hopefully his paperwork goes through and in time, and he can get in before it fills up or anything like that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Other tribe members throughout the world. Michelle Sanchez, spoke to her. Looks
You
like
had a busy ass weekend.
Oh yeah, she's on her. She's probably going to be moving to upstate New York.
Really?
Yeah, so her
career has brought her that direction?
no, her significant other is going to be stationed there.
Okay.
Looking
Stationed? Is he in
to
the
be
military?
stationed. Yeah, he joined the army.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your service,
Yeah.
dude.
So, well, he was, I believe, in the Marine Corps before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And now he's going.
Is his name Axel?
Axel? Yeah, Axel. So, so I told her, like, does that mean you don't have to work and you can just commit full time to training? She said there's an American top team in upstate New York, kind of where they're going. So that's cool.
Cool.
So that's what's going on there. Also, in terms of tribe members related to the service, Nicky Boy joined the Navy, as we know. And
He's been gone now since
August.
Yeah, so like,
Since August. And he is now stationed in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Pensacola, Florida.
Is there?
There's a naval
I
training.
assume
There's a naval training thing
there
there.
has to be if he's there.
He's kind of he's got more specialization classes to do, and he's hoping to visit us sometime, maybe around Christmas, which would be cool.
Good for him.
Now here's the killer. He has put on 20 pounds.
Oh my god.
He's like, I'm a solid 171.
They
So,
must
by the
just
way,
be feeding
Nicky,
the shit out of
for
him.
those of you who don't know who we're talking about, this guy's probably 6'3", almost 6'4", was a $140.
Yeah.
The most limber joints
Oh my God,
you've ever
like-
seen. Like, can put his legs behind. Basically, like a Keenan Cornelius body, but hasn't filled out. Well, I guess he's filling out. I guess the Navy's feeding him.
They're like,
They're
you better
feeding him
eat.
well.
Yeah.
So he's getting all jacked. So he's gonna smash the shit out of us when he comes
Jesus.
back. And yeah, so he's doing very well with that. So
Is he
it's
been
good to
training?
hear. So he told me that he has done a little wrestling / grappling with some people around there, but that's pretty much
Okay.
it.
He probably didn't get a lot of free time being so new to the Corps or to the service.
And I think they have things pretty locked down because of COVID, like in
yeah,
terms of
good
what
call.
you're able to do and leave and go.
Oh,
that kind of thing.
imagine that. Like,
So
properly.
you're in a bubble probably.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
leave. So yeah, that's kind of
Pensacola
updates.
is in the Panhandle.
the Panhandle. Yeah,
It's like almost like Louisiana Panhandle.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct.
It's like not like Jacksonville, that part of the Panhandle. It's like
no,
way west.
Well, Jacksonville isn't even. I wouldn't say even on the Panhandle. It's
Isn't
like,
it? I mean, like it's up there. It's just
Yeah, but the
it's not on
Panhandle is like what actually touches the Gulf. I would think.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
That's
Okay.
that's how I view it. But maybe.
I just think of it in terms of like where it is latitudinally. So
Yeah. So that's what happened with that, and then we have that whiteboard now
yeah, man.
with curriculum on it.
So is it? I'm allowed to say welcome, new assistant instructor Noah John.
I just said, listen, Paul, you want to do this program? Like, I'll be your guinea pig. Like,
There we
I'm
go.
happy to do it. So we have I've been calling it the Foundations program.
It's a good name.
And
a good name.
it is taught concurrently with fundamentals class. So anytime you see a fundamentals class on our schedule, which by the way has been recently updated, we have a new
Check the website,
check the website.
attorlando.com.
Correct. Check
Click
the
the link on the
website.
bottom, download PDF.
Exactly. So all gi jiu-jitsu classes are
6 o'clock.
split up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
with the exception of Sunday.
Sunday is the
there are
only-
no every other day of the week they are all level. There are no
Either intermediate
all level
advanced
classes. So
or-
it's either
yeah.
correct, either intermediate advanced or fundamentals. When there's a fundamental class, those students that have no stripes on their white belt or want to brush up on something are with me on our little spot on the mat, and we go through the Foundations curriculum, which is a 10 course,
lessons, right?
a 10 lesson curriculum. Each lesson stands on its own, covering one of the 5 main positions in jiu-jitsu. So we've defined the main positions as closed guard, half guard, side control, mount, and back mount. We're not touching on knee on stomach or knee on belly.
Yeah. Which are all sort of side control.
So each of the 10 lessons covers one of those positions. And the idea being you take each lesson twice. Every new student gets a card. You just saw the cards.
I did.
We have a curriculum card. So it's very much Gracie Combatives, kind of, where you go through that, and every time you take the class, you check it off.
Yep.
And once you've got 2 checks next to each lesson, you'll get tested.
Oh.
And upon completion of that test, you'll be awarded your first stripe on your white belt.
Okay.
And in addition to those 10 lessons, there are also fundamental movements and concepts that will also be taught interspersed with everything else, including etiquette. But stuff like some basic grips like monkey grip, butterfly grip, gable grip.
You mean applying language to teaching?
Oh, you're just getting so excited now.
Oh, structure.
And stuff like break falling,
Cool.
how to do the warm up
Nice.
in terms of
This is
front
very good.
rolls or hip escapes and that sort of thing. So
This is excellent.
yeah, so that's,
And so this is obviously, I'm just not around our students enough at this point to take a look at what the makeup of fundamentals class is typically, but how many students are we looking at there?
so
And will there be, okay, so answer that question.
So it appears is that in any given class, there are between 4 to 7 no stripe white belts.
Oh, wow. That's quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question 2. How will you structure the class, and will there be any sort of, not live rolling, but any live anything?
Yeah, so the way these have been structured, I've already done 3. I've done 3 of them so far, and they've already gotten tighter just in the first 3 that I've done in terms of timing. So the group, so far, the class warms up together, but
Fundamentals and foundations.
Yes.
Yes, all right.
We all line up together at the start of class. We will bow out as separate groups at the end of class.
Oh.
I believe. I mean, if we time it up, I don't mind. You know,
It should make. Right.
I think ideally you pair everybody up, but the way things are sometimes.
But numbers matter.
We warm up together at the beginning, and warm up is non-technical now, for the most part. Meaning we don't do technical movements in the warm up. We jog, we shuffle,
motor.
we do bear crawls,
Yeah.
but that's it. Then at that point, we break off into our groups where there's still maybe some time left in that first 10 minutes of warm up, and the foundations people will go over some fundamentals. So we did, for example, pummeling. The last 2 lessons.
It amazes me how to watch 2 people who have no idea what pummeling is.
Exactly. They all hug each other.
Yeah, they just
Hug.
Then they switch sides.
And then they hug.
And
The big thing they do, I realize, is they connect their hands. They bear hug each other.
Yeah, they don't.
And it's like, no, you're lifting the underhook and collapsing the underhook.
Unless you explain to them, they don't. they think it's just
Exactly.
right.
So-
yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
so that's how that's supposed to kind of go.
Nice.
And then at that point, there is 20 to 30 minutes, more like I would say 25 minutes on average of instruction that does incorporate some progressive resistance depending on the day, depending on the skill that we're developing. And I've been trying to teach things backwards, which has been very...
For those of you who don't know what that means,
Okay, so
what does teaching something
so
backwards
for example,
means?
yesterday the last class I did was how do we go from close guard to side control? Okay.
So you start with side control.
So the lesson is opening close guard and doing a cross-side knee slice pass. That's the lesson. Conceptually, what we're teaching is, okay, new students, this is close guard. This is an annoying position. We want to get out of this position, and we want to improve our position and get to side control, which is better for you.
Right.
How are we going to do it? So the first thing I have people do, or the first thing I had people do, was start in a what I would call a past knee shield position. So they just the person on bottom was kind of in a knee shield, but they weren't shielding, and I had people sit on their thigh. So I literally had people one step before the final slice.
Okay. So all right.
So I was like, hey, put your hand on the hip, plop by the thigh.
Yeah.
Go and walk them back, walk the hips back,
Yeah.
side control. Do that for like a minute or 2 minutes.
Okay.
And they just did that. Then we started working backwards from that in terms of
How do I get to that knee across their thigh
how do we
position?
get? So now I'm in a combat base.
Mhm.
Now how do I get to combat base? Well, now I broke the guard. So we work back to the whole thing. So at the end of it, they're doing the whole movement. It did appear to help with they were able to get it better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, some of these students have already seen this. Some of these people have already seen it to some degree, so that certainly helped. but some of the feedback so far has been positive in terms of how it's kind of structured. So that's going to go over, let's say, a 25-minute period where generally it's the way it seems to be going is I give them that little chunk. They do it. I call them in a minute, like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Couple points of emphasis. Make sure you do this, do it again, then come back. All right, let's move back a stage.
Yeah.
All right, do this. Let them go for 2 minutes. Stop them. All right, guys. Couple points of emphasis. So it's usually show them a small chunk, corrections. Show a small chunk, corrections until you get to the very end, and then we go live. And we don't go live in that class. We didn't go live from any of these partial positions. We actually started in the full position. But what I started doing was giving out hints to help the people. If I saw that bottom people were winning, then I'd give hints to the top people. If the top people were succeeding, I would stop and give hints to the bottom people to help
add a little bit of resistance by doing this.
So, for example, a better example would be 2 classes ago, we did escaping side control bottom, which would be our position 2. So the elbow escape.
Yeah.
And everyone was getting out. No, excuse me. At the beginning, nobody was getting out because everybody went to position 1. So I immediately said, new rule. A lot of you guys know
How
Jiu-Jitsu.
You structure the games, yeah.
You can't go to position 1. So then everyone started getting out. So then I was like, guys on top, let me give you a hint. What are they trying to do? They're trying to connect their knee and elbow. So make sure you glue your hip side knee, the knee that's closer to their hip, onto that hip so they have less space. Nice. And that seemed to even things out. So in terms of situational sparring, I'm doing rounds of 30 seconds or a minute. And
you mean you're drilling them?
Yeah, we're doing,
I mean, you're forcing them to drill. You're calling it live rounds.
Well, yeah, but they start in that position, and I like going short rounds because I don't tell them, me personally, I don't like if you get out, switch. I don't like that. I'd much rather just say, if you get out, keep going. But I'm going to make it so short that, I tell people, take risks is okay. The worst thing, what's going to happen in 30 seconds? The worst thing's going to happen is you're going to be in a bad position for 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, practice. Like, use this for an outburst.
Yeah,
So,
it's not competing. You're learning.
Yeah, so we do that for the remaining time, which is about 15 to 20 minutes.
Probably really enjoy that.
15 to 20 minutes with ample breaks because it is actually up tempo.
Sure.
So we have breaks.
But they don't know how to pace themselves anyways.
So we have breaks in there. And then with about 5 to 4 minutes, we wind down, we line up, I sit down, do we have any questions? We go over questions, talk a little bit about etiquette, and then we bow out and we go home. So that's kind of
a little mat chat at the end.
Little mat chat.
That's interesting. So I'm reminded of your tennis background, and actually one of the more technical things I've learned how to break down movement like that. The way you're describing that, interestingly, is the Olympic weightlifting that I learned in high school. Because I had the pleasure and the honor, I guess, of working with
huge honor for me.
Huge honor for me. I don't know, Danny Camargo. He was an Olympic alternate for Olympic weightlifting. He ran the USA weightlifting.
So he knew his shit.
What's that?
He knew his shit.
Oh yeah, like 1 hour with him brought my clean and jerk from I don't know, it was 225 to 275. Just that level of coaching, right?
See, I'm amazed. You it never quite registered with me when you said strength is a skill. It never. I was like, strength is strength. I get it, but I didn't quite get it until just in the past few weeks. It hit it. I had a deeper level of understanding and appreciation for that because I've really gone back to working on the technique behind the main lifts.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing just how much, we say machine-like, but being machine-like and bracing properly and getting your leverages right. And it's fascinating listening to these guys talk about it because they talk about like engineers, your leverages.
Yeah.
It's all about leverages and fulcrums and where you're
what point of your body moves first,
applying force and all, and paths, and bar paths.
So when something as simple as a clean, right? We learned it as 4 separate steps, which is insane. If you look at what the actual motion of a clean is, it looks like you're just pulling the bar up to your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
But it's 4 steps. The way you're teaching that is first one is basically just the deadlift. Second is the clean pull, and then the hip pop to the clean pull, and then the actual like catch, right? So that's 4 parts of the clean. And I've always doing that a lot, just rep after rep after rep. Like I do that now naturally, just picking up a fucking mop,
Sure.
And just so like I think you breaking up a large motion, gross motor movement to micro portions is because people, when you're like a white belt watching a knee cut pass like that, it's all they see is one guy starting here and he just slides and somehow his belly down on the other guy, right? Like, and they don't have the eye yet to be able to see the movements within the movements. So like, I have to wonder, how much of that sort of like breaking down a gross motor movement into several micro movements is that? Did you do a lot of that in tennis as well?
This is a combination of. This is a realization, attending that first class I ever took with Preet in Globetrotters, and how he was like, "You got to teach backwards. Like everyone teaches backwards." And I was like, "Well, shit, that's what I did when I taught tennis." So it's like I think we teach by example. Like I think every time you teach, you mimic what your coach does.
Yeah.
And
okay, so just to reverse that now, let's teach the knee cut forward. What's the definition of teaching it forward?
If you teach it classically forward, you show the entire movement, and you keep showing the entire movement. Well, okay, I take that back. If you're talking about how you teach it forwards versus how it's generally taught, those are two different things.
Okay, so if
you taught it forwards, you would start with opening the guard.
Right.
Getting good posture so you can't get broken down, grabbing the lapels, creating that that frame, punching the sternum, and then pushing the hips down, working your hips back, popping the rounding your back, opening it, and then doing that. Okay. Then doing that and going to combat base. Then doing that and going to combat base and then dropping your knee and moving your body forward so they can't, regain the knee shield. And then sliding through at the end. That's kind of how we do. But, But what's interesting is when you do it, actually maybe both ways. There might be validity in both ways, but definitely breaking it up. Most lessons are classically taught was, here's the whole thing.
Now do it.
Now do it. Now let's look at me do it again. Guys, watch out here and watch out here. Which, works. And I think it makes more sense maybe with more advanced because those people already have a concept of jiu-jitsu, so you don't have to break things down as much.
Right.
Because in a way, those movements should be similar to what they already know, and now we're just... Remember that movement? We're doing the same thing, but now we're doing this.
Exactly.
Right? It's we're building off an existing knowledge base, whereas with brand new students, I think it's more important to break things down because they don't have that existing knowledge base. So you have to break it down for them. And I think going backwards...
it's interesting you say backward, because when I think backwards, maybe I'm misinterpreting you. I would have thought you say we start literally in side control.
Yeah,
and
you could have.
Like I'm, showing it in reverse. Like
that would have been one more step. That would have been one more. That would have been. I started one step after that.
Okay.
I'm not in side control. I showed them the side control.
Yeah.
And I was okay. Now we're going to get to this.
This is where we want to end up, right?
Okay, guys, spend 30 seconds. Sit in side control. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean? So I think the benefit of going backwards cognitively is like when I think about it is that every time you do something, the new part is at the beginning, not the end. So you can focus on that, and then some muscle memory kicks in for stuff. So if you did I do the last part first. Okay, I practice that. That's maybe starting to come a little more naturally. Now I do the step before. I'm focused on the new part, and that's the first thing. Once I get through that hard part, then I just do the thing I did before.
Yeah.
Once I feel good, now we're slowly building. Whereas if you start forwards to backwards, the new thing is at the end of whatever that movement chain is. So it's like, okay, I focus on breaking the guard. So I get really good at breaking the guard, and now I have to do this other thing. Whereas it's like that's the first thing that should be giving, in my opinion, the strength of this, I think, is because the first thing that the student's attention is on the new thing that they really have to concentrate on.
Right.
So, but yeah, we'll see. Cool. I've just done 3, so now we're going to see how the other ones. I kind of pick ones that I felt like I could frame, and I'm going to have to do them all.
Yeah.
And we'll see how they frame in that context.
Nice.
But we've got the whiteboard. They can see on Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing that, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Oh my God. So
like, if let's say a student can only train, they're a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday guy, right? That means next week you basically have to bump everything forward by one. So the Saturday will become the Monday. So that person will be able to get.
Yeah, so right now I did not.
Oh, excuse me.
Every class has been different thus far, and I will do that for the first 10 lessons.
I'll pull it back one day,
but there needs to be probably an order, and then you stagger it.
Exactly.
So that every, each Monday will be a different lesson, so you don't have people that say every 2 Mondays you're going to see the same class again. No.
Right.
You want to be able, if I train
you rotate it you just rotate it by one backwards. It should work
correct.
Fine.
Or 4s by 1 doesn't matter.
Yeah, either way it doesn't matter. It just needs to be rotated.
Exactly.
So, cool. Awesome, man.
Or if you have, if we do include Sunday, for example, now suddenly you're teaching this 6 days a week. 6 doesn't go into 10 evenly, so it's going to automatically rotate because of that.
Yeah.
Paul has the idea of maybe having a calendar up, so you see the entire calendar. That's a possibility. But he said it's less work to do the calendar because you just say the lesson number, whereas I actually wrote out, L9. But what is the lesson? We're doing half guard to close guard,
Right.
So, and then I'm hoping I put spots for fundamentals class and intermediate advanced, so guys like you that do both.
Let me
you don't have to get you. I put a space there. TBA, to be announced.
We'll see.
Or what we'll do is we'll take intermediate advanced today,
and we'll
see what it is, and then you write it in there.
And I'll write it up there, and I'll know what to do tomorrow. That's awesome. That's so that's interesting. And
actually Wednesday there's no class, so I should actually eliminate that. Veterans Day.
Oh, there's no fundamental on Wednesday at all?
We're closed Wednesday, apparently.
This coming Wednesday?
Because of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is Wednesday.
Is Veterans Day usually on a Wednesday? I thought it was interesting.
Let me look this up.
Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie, look this up, please. I mean, everyone said it, so why would I doubt what everyone has said to me?
Yeah, totally didn't know that, but I'll have to.
Veterans Day 2020 is Wednesday, November 11th.
No, well, I'll be damned. Maybe it's always November 11th or something. So go out and thank a veteran that day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I might be like, I'll open the gym.
I mean, oh, yeah, you're okay.
I could
just make the small announcement.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I'll probably end up, because I see that the Saturday. So my training schedule is going to be a little bit up in the air now. So Monday I would have tried to stay for 2 classes. I might have to go back to Monday, Saturday, but
you mean
Saturdays?
You mean Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
Tuesday.
You wouldn't. You're saying you would still train Monday afternoon?
Yeah, I still need to train at night,
regardless,
because I need to get the lesson.
Gotcha.
And just get my
not if
my
we have this board, bro.
Exactly. No, exactly. But I'm just trying to think of because Saturday's not competition training, and I don't belong in that class. So competition training, I don't belong in there. So maybe I'll just train Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah,
Sunday,
some
Monday,
people really
Tuesday,
like
Thursday.
the fact that competition class is on Saturday. Me and Victor in the camp were we prefer it in the week. I don't know, but I think more people.
It makes more sense for it to be on Saturday.
I think more people like it on Saturday.
Yeah, I think
guys like Victor and I are like, nah, I get it. We went in during the week, man.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, competition class is now on Saturdays.
Saturday we're
at 11, and then at 10 right after
12
that you have fundamentals and foundations.
So yeah, I guess I have to change my training schedule to Monday, Monday, I guess. So and I'll have to hopefully Sunday is the lesson. No, because I'll still be there Monday, so it won't matter because Sunday's closing out the week. So we'll figure it out.
And then my idea that I'm probably going to do is if I'm responsible for testing, I'm going to do what one of my teachers did in college and ask one hard question that they don't know the answer to, but they could if they synergized ideas in their mind. So I know Victor in the background is like, fuck this guy.
But it's jiu-jitsu, so it's at least they enjoy it.
No, so what I would ask is I would ask them, what do you think the positional hierarchy is?
Oh,
see, Chris likes that.
I love that.
Even though we're not going to teach it explicitly if they thought about it, they should be able to figure out.
They should be able to figure it out.
You know, we're not telling them this. What? We have questions. We have questions.
Is he
from
saying
Victor
is it
coming in.
really objective?
Is it?
You mean subjective? Subjective. Yeah. I mean, it's
So Victor's asking,
Depends
isn't
on who
that,
you
isn't that
ask.
a very subjective kind of thing? And I agree. And I would definitely not phrase it as this is the way. In fact, I
I
would
can
probably,
tell you
I
from
would,
the jiu-jitsu point system, it is definitely
yeah,
not
but I would
subjective.
probably, I would probably say something more along the lines of, what is one way that you could improve your position from here? I wouldn't.
There you
I would
go,
make.
yeah.
I'd make it open ended. I wouldn't be like fill the. I wouldn't hand him a sheet of paper with like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of like
Hey,
weird
this
in
is all
between stuff.
speculative.
Because
we
I've
have
asked
Victor
the
in the back
question-
shaking his head.
I've asked the question myself, too, and you know, like, because I try to use that example of like, hey, just positional hierarchy, guys. Like, what do you think is one step better? And a lot of people will sort of like skip steps, I guess, in that. Which I'm like, it's not wrong, but just if you look at it from a fit perspective, like, there's another piece you're missing in there, you know? So that sort of thing. So, like, as long as it's not as long as you don't say, like, fucking somebody having back mount on me and that's a better position than, you know, like, then they should get it, I would think.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I
Yeah,
got a formula. I'm more interested. Like right now, the goal is teach the lessons, and then if I get that audacious, then I will get that audacious. We'll see. But I might not even be the one doing that.
Yeah.
You know? I think it'd be kind of cool if Paul was the one doing that, just because now it's like they don't even,
Yeah.
you know, like different independent certification. Besides, he's the one putting the stripe on,
Right.
You know, so yeah, that's what's going on here at the gym.
Very cool. Classes have picked up a lot. I mean, there's a reason why we've had to readjust the schedule a lot.
Kurt
so.
and Andy Rossiter are back.
Are they? Nice. Good for them.
Yeah, they came in last week.
Really?
They actually attended one of my classes.
Did they? Yeah, they must have. There's like 7 schedules that have
Yeah,
passed
they're
since
like,
they
I
were
don't
last year. Like, I'll just show up and I'll train. I wear a gi to Muay Thai.
But they were good. It was good to see them.
Cool.
And yeah, I asked them, like, you guys back? Or you just tested the water? But they said they're back. So
Nice.
hopefully,
Governor
we start
DeSantis said it's okay.
so yeah, hopefully we
Right?
see
Is
this,
that
we see this. We start seeing them with some regularity.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's definitely kind of a shock for the people that have been out for a while to come back. Not only because the gym layout is drastically different from how it was when they left, but also there's so many new faces.
Oh, I bet.
So many new faces. So it is, yeah, man. It's things are going well. Things are going well. So it's exciting time. If you guys are affiliated with the gym, hopefully these changes continue to happen and make things more exciting and transparent, all that good stuff for you guys.
And that we're good. We're serving you to the best of our
Correct.
ability. Right?
Customer service, baby.
Customer service.
Customer
That's
service.
what that you are.
Or just pay us $10,000 and we'll give you a black belt.
Exactly. With our online learning course. But it'll be like what is it's a different color black belt or something.
Yeah.
But,
we just put an asterisk somewhere.
Right.
We sew an asterisk into the belt.
What is
Can't
the
see.
Gracie Combatives blue belt? It's like a blue belt. The one that you do like the online learning course, like once you do that.
I don't know how it's distinguished.
It's like you get it's like a different blue belt. Like it's a blue belt with a black stripe and then
really?
Yeah, and then like you go and then you have to
but
like
Helio wore a blue belt.
then you have to go take it and like test it in front of a certified Gracie training academy
and then you get
or
a
something.
regular blue belt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So that's like verified and unverified. It's like you get the blue check mark, right?
Yeah.
On social media, you get the Gracie check mark.
So yeah, that's cool, man. Like I think that's a very good retention. Just early on in people's development, I think people probably require a little bit more attention, a little bit more. Coddling is a bad word. A little bit more attention and a little bit more explanation and a clear objectives
and also just I think, the fundamental curriculum, what the blue belts need to know, or rather what a white belt needs to know in order to get promoted to blue belt, is roughly 90 techniques.
right.
There is no way to accommodate new students coming in every day, every month of the year.
It's hard, right? Like, how
to
do you
structure
rotate
that?
them
You
in?
can't structure that. You can't always start with the basics that they need to learn first. It's not like those 90 concepts or techniques. Rather, there is a hierarchy to how you learn them.
Yeah.
Right, a preferred. So it can be more daunting for some students depending on when they come. If they come at a convenient time where we're covering, foundational stuff first, then great. But we can't cater to we have to just teach those things throughout the year, and when you come in is when you come in. So having this foundations program allows any student to come in and get given the most important 10 lessons right off the bat, so that then they're ready for whatever is going to be thrown at them in the fundamentals curriculum.
All right.
And at that point, they should have a basic concept also of the 5 positions and what to do in each of those positions.
Yeah, exactly. And what's not, what doesn't make you worse.
And that should allow them to at least, if they retain some of that knowledge, to go out there in fundamentals class, have a more free role with people and not be lost so much. And thrown into positions like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Well,
because how often does that happen too, right? Like,
all the time.
Like you
see them freeze.
You see them freeze, or they, like, it's a week 1 guy, right? And they're paired up with me, and they're like, what do I do? Or
as you saw the horror of, they're in mount and they don't know what to do in mount, so they roll into close guard.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
Helio just died a little. What is he just died a little bit.
So, anyway. So what are your goals today, man? You've been out for about a week.
A week? Yeah, I've been out since Thursday.
All right.
I've had
your goal is to find out what intermediate and advanced.
What do I need to teach Tuesday and Thursday mornings?
Tuesday and Thursday. All right.
Which is that's a really encouraging class lately. So
dude, you got a good group of people coming in.
Yeah, some days are good. I mean, some days are a little bit slow and stuff, but
you got some regulars, man.
Yeah, that's really
and even
nice.
Pedro made an appearance.
He did. Dude,
he wanted to see you, man. He's like, I haven't seen. Where's Chris Vubin?
It's funny.
Apparently he came one of those days because he didn't get the memo that you were out. I was like,
that sucks. Dude, that guy, he must weigh as much as me now.
Oh, yeah, he's in bulk season.
He's
bulking, bro.
I was like, whoa.
He's bulking.
Get off me, man. You use limit.
Dude, I love it. He shows up in his 93 brand tight.
Oh, yeah. It looks good Under Armour.
And even he rubs his belly. Like, his belly. We love you, Pedro, man. He's bulking, bro. He's doing a dirty bulk, and then he'll cut down. He'll shred.
Oh, he's doing it like the old school 1970s way.
He's like pouring olive oil on his pizza and
raw
butter
eggs.
with it. Yeah. It's all about
Pedro was there. That was good.
Caloric,
good to have
what is it? Caloric surplus.
Yes.
There you go.
Excess, I think, or excess surplus. I mean, either they're about the same. Surplus just sounds like it's a good thing. Excess sounds terrible, right?
This is
semantics.
True. This is true. Language is key.
There's one thing I want to talk about. Like, did you see any of the recap of the UFC from Saturday?
No, I did not.
I mean, other than Glover winning.
No, I didn't. Yeah. Oh, I did see the ear.
That's what. Oh, like, I need to see this. And it
was apparently an elbow. A downward elbow. So just imagine you take your fingers and you grab the top part of your ear.
Yeah.
You squeeze and then you just rip down as hard as you can. Now imagine doing the exact same motion but replace you tugging with your fingers with an elbow essentially doing the same thing and really going through. Dude, that was disgusting.
I saw it Sunday morning.
Oh, so disgusting.
And I was like,
everyone was like, so you want to be a fighter? That was everyone's saying that. So you want to be a fighter?
All I know is the damn recap on SureDog said, for those of you who did not watch this live, the result is very graphic. So please use discretion if you want to see this.
Yeah. And you're like, ooh.
I was like, ooh. I'm like, I've been watching this shit for 20 years, and oh my god.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, and I was.
How does this not happen more?
I was actually talking to Victor about this, and I was like, how do you fix that?
Plastic surgery?
Like, is that tissue that can actually heal? Like, because it looked like cartilage dang. So I'm like,
It was
can
disgusting.
you stitch cartilage? Like, will it like reconnect itself?
I would think so.
Is that tissue like
I mean, it's
regenerative?
living, right? Like it's.
I mean, I don't know. But it was pretty gross looking.
It was disgusting.
Like it looked like I could. It looked like I could take my finger and just shove it up his
into his brain.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's horrendous. Like, dude,
The people that like do horror movies like Saw or like, ooh, this is
like,
good. This is what it looks like, guys. Take notes.
yeah,
Take notes.
like,
Take notes.
oh man, like it was.
We're
was bad,
gonna do
though,
an ear ripping scene. It's got to look just like this.
Yeah, so 12 to 6 elbow. Like that's the that.
But he had to connect with that beautifully, because I just think when you're sweaty, you can't have enough friction.
Not if you're like scraping into the. I don't know what elbow was it. Was it? I can do it with the shoulder. This elbow or this elbow?
No, it was the first.
Really?
Yeah.
So it went into his head and down.
Yeah, I mean, it just had to be perfect. But I'm just thinking
I
to
can see
rip
that
an
could
ear.
happen.
Like that's,
I'm surprised
how
okay.
much force was generated.
Okay, so hang on. So first off, that means the guy's head had to be turned. Like
I mean, to
him.
me, this only makes sense if you took a hatchet and you just chopped down at the guy's ear. Now, like, that's how you get that.
No,
I don't know how.
Okay, it's like I'm thinking about it now. Now that I think about it, he had to turn the guy's head this way.
Yeah.
and like that.
Exactly.
I can see that happening.
Fucking gross, man. I just think that I would think with sweat that he would slide before he.
Not if you're providing enough lateral pressure.
So yes.
Oh,
Check that out if you're queasy.
you're into,
don't. If you're
you
into
know,
that, yeah.
To
If
MMA,
you're into it, you probably
gore
already
porn.
seen it because this is after the fact. But yeah,
Um,
that was insane.
And go Glover.
Yeah, man. Go Glover, man.
War
Dana,
old
you
guy
got
strength.
Yeah. Dude, good for him, man. He's put together a winning streak. Dude, give him a shot.
Again.
Well, yeah, give him another fuck. Who cares, you know? It's not against John.
Yeah, exactly. It's against another heavy-handed old guy.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I think
which I think
it's a
Israel gets
compelling
next.
story.
It is an
It's a
awesome
compelling
story. It'd be
story.
good. It'd be good for...
So, but you're right. Right now, they want to get Izzy to move up, which I think is a little too soon. I would rather have this guy fight other guys, but maybe that's just not where the money is, so I don't know. But we shall see.
Yeah, man.
Well, anyway, we got to get ready, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's time for
It's time to go. So we will catch you guys down the road. Year 2 has just begun with BJJ and Brews.